Duluth, Minnesota, Captain's Log, 6th of December, 2020, star date, Norshor Theater. The classic old-fashioned theater, like the Bay Theater in Suttons Bay, Michigan, where I was projectionist and manager for 5 years, is very important to keep the film industry popular. Most people do not attend or have the desire to watch a new film release in an old town theater because they either do not have one nearby or it's not popular with the people who they want to see the film with. It could also be seen as less exciting to go see a film at a small town theater because the experience to see a film with a big crowd present might be a memory. The big crowds might be a memory, like they are for me, from the past. They wish to experience again, and less an intimate experience, seeing the film on a big screen in a public setting. Be it a sparsely attended hometown historic theater or a multiplex. It's all changed. People aren't getting excited like they used to because the instant gratification. We don't have to wait. We have internet access to all the films we would ever want at any moment. It wasn't like that before. Before we had to wait. 3D and IMAX have also, but they also became advancements that occurred as theaters began to be replaced by home entertainment and the immediate gratification of high-speed internet. Netflix, YouTube, where once the excitement of seeing a new release of the big Hollywood stars was an excitement generated by many outside entities in the film industry and the media. The golden days, the stars that find their way to be the stars, and then they become part of and they still do a little bit. This excitement with the growth of the industry and the communities created a new atmosphere. Never. Not only were more theaters available and film distributors competing for larger crowds, the integrity of that old-fashioned theater experience, devoid of the social drama that was created when everyone stood in line and waited for the end of a scene to quick and get some popcorn. You get up really quick and you get some popcorn, but the social drama, what I'm talking about, the old black and white photo of people standing in line to go see a film, your neighbors, talking about it in school, the toys that come from those films that get the kids excited, the big budget, grandiose theatrical films of the 40s and 50s, and how's it changed. The social drama involved in that, with so many possible different types of things to see. How can there be the golden days of Hollywood anymore? How can the old town theater retain and capture that memory that's burned into our minds of what once was, like the pyramids? That old-fashioned reaction where people couldn't wait to talk about the much-awaited release of a new film. And who got to see it first in the small town America is where the heart and soul of what a true artist of the film industry strives for. The audience that is drooling to wait and see the new release. Well, how do I know anything about this? Well, when I grew up in Suttons Bay, I remember when there was no VHS and there was just TV and you had to wait and you went down to the movie store and the new releases would come before the internet. From the very beginning of the film industry, entertainment has changed from live performances to the first film. Film came before television. Growing up in a small town with an authentic old-fashioned theater, I learned the difference between choosing to go to Traverse City, the large city nearby, with cinemas that offered multiple films and showtimes. You didn't go to a film every weekend. Like you can decide to do any day, any moment. You can just get on the internet and watch YouTube. The excitement, the pressure of getting to see that film, it's not there anymore. That's the juices that drove the Hollywood, drove the stars. In Sutton's Bay at the Bay Theater, going to see a movie was a treat that we would only partake in the activity when one of the most anticipated films would be released. Before cable TV, before high-speed internet, you only had 3 channels. E.T., Indiana Jones, A River Runs Through It, The Little Mermaid were films that I watched at the theater for special occasions. What's the special occasion now? We can always see our favorite stars at any moment. We don't have to buy a magazine. We don't have to wait to see a special event on network television. We have mostly forgotten what it is like to wait for our much anticipated film to be released. I represent the last generation that remembers what life was like before the VHS player. I remember what it was like to wait to either see a film in the theater or wait for it to be played on television. In Sutton's Bay, a much smaller city than Duluth, the theater was the temple of a different kind of popular culture. I will not claim to be a doctor of the film and of film history, but I do study history, and the same economic and trends in society affect all the different aspects of life in similar ways. Since I was present before VHS, and since I watched theaters try to find new ways to entice a greater audience, Dolby surround sound, IMAX, digital is now the standard way films are distributed. A small theater like Sutton's Bay's Bay Theater can now show multiple films without anyone being needed to handle the film because there is no film. As the golden day, nowadays the largest cinemas get first picks, get the greatest attention, get the greatest options for those most popular films. As the distributors, release them to these digitally to these big theaters before it trickles down. As the golden days, the old cliche, the golden days of the movie star has passed. Some of the theaters still remain, and I feel I'm almost like stepping out of a time capsule and saying the golden days. We've already realized that, but this is my paper here. Like the family farms that have vanished. The golden days of the film are like the family farms that have vanished. As VHS was replaced with CDs and rapidly CDs being replaced with high-speed internet, the golden days of Hollywood must go through a rebirth as our current movie stars are trying to hold on to their individuality. As society may be changing faster than the audience can be captivated by the reality of the movie stars holding on to their stardom and not being able to change as human nature has completely changed. What about the completely change of human nature? We're not waiting anymore to see that explosive moment when we get to see our star in the film that we've been hearing about for months. From reality television, the personality of the movie star perhaps is now being considered as just another option. As these movie stars try to find new ways to burn their memory into our minds, they are now competing with a changing world, not just a changing America. As Russia bombs the Ukraine, a country run by a former television personality, the internet has mentally changed the world, but personalities still control us from a time that is nothing like what it once was. We do not have to wait in line to see the world premiere. We don't have to wait to see the next Indiana Jones or Star Trek. We don't even have those types of films being created anymore, because now there are theaters in every neighborhood that all have the digital connection. They can show the famous actor we remember from yesterday, from a time long ago. Now we get our fix of the stars at any moment with our connection to the internet. And with the combination of computer animation and special effects, I think even the film industry has expected more from their creations and have not listened to their audience. They're holding on. They don't need. It's a huge profitable industry for those that are in it, and they don't need to keep the connections. They don't need to they're not as they're what they're creating isn't intended to be as it's rapid fire coming out at us as much as possible. But that's not what captivated us in the beginning. There is nothing that I can compare to the hysteria that surrounded Star Wars, the original Disney classics from the 80s and 90s, Indiana Jones, the edge, that edge, the cutting edge of what once was is now a pie with many more slices. There's too many choices and options, and we don't have that star to focus and emphasis and put all that. We remember it, and we kind of wish that it was still what it once was, but it's not. And again, where is that? That's a political entity. It's a notion that we're all thinking about. So where is that energy gonna go? It's going in all these different places now. We're trying to figure out where it should go. The classic theater, like the theater in Duluth, the Norshor, is a temple like the pyramids. The intensity of these classic theaters are now our memory we are trying to recapture. I mean those films when they were coming out, that was intense. When Star Wars came out, when the Disney classics came out, the theatrical performances that were awaited by the entire country. Like the idea of the family farm and buying from the roadside fruit stand. Is going to the movie now, is going to the classic old-time theater, is it now like kind of something we just pat ourselves on the back for doing, like going and purchasing a bag of apples from the fruit stand? Is that something that, if everyone is seeing these films, if people are watching all these on Netflix and on, YouTube, if everyone's still doing it, there's an interest in it, but the old theater is a time capsule. And is it, we're not going to the fresh fruit market every weekend. We want to do that. It makes us feel good. But if society is going to change, do we need to start thinking a little bit more like where should this energy be reshuffled? If the excitement about the golden age, if the stars aren't the stars anymore, if the award ceremonies are just too many of them now and nothing seems to be special anymore, do we need something special to help change society? The intent, or are we just kind of idling here with all these options? But the theater, the old time theater, is still this temple. It retains that energy, the memory. The intensity is now in our phones and the airwaves of the internet. Maybe the excitement we hope to recover in attending the Old Town Theater, in raising them that have shut down and re-erecting them. Maybe it is just a hobby. The world will have to decide what happens to Hollywood. There are many stories out there. There are many things that people are doing, and it doesn't have to be told on just the network news. And how can that get out? We can all shoot videos now. We can all display our videos. Again, if we're going to change society, like as powerful as the film industry and as powerful as the news media was when there was fewer options, we can look to the old time theater, and we can remember how powerful that temple once was in trying to understand how we should move forward. It's a topic that is very wide. It's a very powerful topic, and there's a possibility that when you think about it.